And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, James out west, February 3rd, 2021.
We got here.
We are here. Super Bowl Sunday is upon us.
We played every single game this year.
Despite COVID.
I had to make some adjustments, but we're here. We're at the Super Bowl, and we have two amazing teams.
We do. Started with 32 teams with goals of Super Bowl aspiration.
Right.
Cut it down to last week, 4 teams.
Oh, man.
A lot of people were on that Buffalo hype train.
I was.
Early in the year, all year.
I got to eat crow.
They made it there.
What
Good
was
for
that?
them.
That was the stupidest decision to go for that field goal.
It is what it is.
Man.
There's a lot of questionable decisions that could have been made that have changed and altered the course of this season. The Browns, who had Kansas City on the ropes, gets the helmet-to-helmet call at the end zone instead of fumbling it through the end zone and out of bounds in a very Cleveland Browns way.
Or how the PI call on Tampa Bay, or for Tampa Bay, and then they go for it on 4th down and throw it to Scotty Miller, who's beaming down the outside.
Yes.
Incredible.
This could have been very different games a week and a half ago.
Tampa Bay going into Green Bay and winning. That's it.
Unexcusable.
Man, I lost big time. I got both games wrong.
Yeah, you did.
You went 1 for 1.
Yeah, I really had Green Bay. I really thought that.
Yeah, that.
They were going to make sure it is apparently clear. Okay, so the conspiracy theory portion of the show, ladies and gentlemen, disclaimer. They were going to make sure Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were going to be playing the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay.
Be the first team
Come
ever
hell or high water.
to host
Absolutely.
at home. Yep.
All right, I'll take my tinfoil hat off now.
Okay.
All right.
So let's get into this.
KC 15-1.
Yep.
Repeating potential Super Bowl champions.
Yep.
Playing better football than they were last year. In many
at this
facets.
Time.
Same for Tampa Bay could be said. Wild card Tom never had to do it this way. At home, he's king of cool.
Hey, we got the GOAT versus the kid.
It'll never be, shout out Nate Burleson. It will never be too big of a moment for Tom.
Yeah.
Or that offense. And frankly, their defense is playing spectacular football.
Great.
They are rolling in the best time you
JPP?
possibly can.
JPP looks good.
Antoine Winfield Jr. gonna play.
I mean, White, David, Barrett, Sue.
They're stacked. And the defense is playing nasty. They're gonna get after Tom. It's gonna be they're gonna get after Pat. It's gonna be a long day.
If they can slow that ball down and keep Pat off the field, and Tampa Bay's offense can run, especially the way Fournette's been playing lately,
Playoff Lenny.
they might have a chance. I think it's going to be a shootout, and it really is probably going to come down to who has the ball last.
Probably, and somehow, I do believe the team that'll have the ball last, and there's probably a prop for it. I'm sure there is.
Oh yeah.
Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay will have the ball with a chance to win the game.
You think
Now, whether they
Mahomes
do or no,
might score too quickly?
no, I just think that just the way that the game's going to shape out.
I love these two coaches, and that's what's going to be interesting. Is I think it's going to come down to turnovers. It's going to come down to possession of clock, and who has the ball last.
Yeah, agreed.
I think Kansas City's going to win this game.
Look, in that Cleveland-Kansas City game in the divisional round, Andy Reid was not giving the ball back to Baker Mayfield. That's why they went for it, because he knew if he did, there's a damn good chance the way that they were playing, they were going to go down and win the game.
Yeah.
So he played smart but aggressive. That's what's going to happen here. Who's the most aggressive coach in the NFL? Historically. It kind of seems like Bruce Arians.
Yeah, or Riverboat.
Riverboat Ron. But he
Maybe.
got that off of like 2 years ago.
Correct, yeah.
But still, yes.
But these are boats old
Andy Reid's a
school.
gambler.
Yes. And he is so freaking creative. I mean, you have weapons on weapons, and this is going to be a high-scoring game. This isn't going to be one of those boring, Baltimore defensive games. It's going to be a great Super Bowl.
Do we know what the weather's going to be there? Because it is outdoors.
It was almost breaking. I think it was 98 today.
What?
Yeah. So I think it's expected to be in the high 70s.
Did you say 98?
That's what I heard.
98 degrees, as in like Nick Lachey, 98 degrees.
Yes, sir.
That's crazy. I want to see the weather real quick because I am curious about
I
what
heard
it's
it's
going
supposed
to
to be
look
like
like.
77 and clear.
Okay, clear. Okay, because that would be because if it's raining.
Nah.
Now they're both outdoor
maybe.
teams. Gosh, I hope not. I hope not. But
There's going to be a lot
we'll
more
worry
people in
about
the
that. Don't
stands.
worry about that. Yeah. Yes,
And
there are.
no cannons.
Until the end of the game, if Tampa Bay wins, those things are going to be rocking and rolling.
We'll have Nate Burleson sneaking up there.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Mike Allstott's going to come busting out of the pirate shit.
Gronk is going to be up on top of it.
He'll be riding that thing like a mechanic.
He'll be like Forrest Gump and on the very, yes. Oh man, this is going to be a great Super Bowl. I'm really excited. I mean, you can go on and on, but so these two teams have already played this year.
Yes.
Played in Week 12.
Yes.
So Kansas City ended up winning 27-24. They were killing them, and then Tampa Bay came back. I don't know if you remember this, but this is that where Hill put up 203 yards
Yes,
and
sir.
2 touchdowns in the first quarter.
Yes, sir.
He ended up with 296 and 3 touchdowns throughout the game. Oh man!
I'm a degenerate gambler. Of course, I remember that.
Even if Hill doesn't have a huge game, you have to double him all game long.
That seems to be the consensus around the big media heads is that let Kelsey eat. For you older white folk that don't know what that means, is let him let him get the empty stats and do those things you need to contain the big play.
Yeah,
which would be.
And he doesn't mind doing that.
Now there will be an unsung hero. There always is of a Super Bowl on Kansas City. Who's that unsung hero? It's going to sound. I think it's if Sammy Watkins is playing for some reason. I feel like him, but it's going to be Mecole Hardman.
Yeah,
he'll be the unsung hero for them.
Dude,
and on the flip side, I'd like to say. If it's Tampa Bay's offense, that it's little Scotty Miller. Everybody loves little Scotty Miller story.
Ooh, who's been challenging?
But you know what, Joe? I'm going to go defensively. The MVP of the Super Bowl could be the rookie Antonio Winfield because it depends on what he does. It comes up with big plays. It could be a number of people. There is star power at every level on both sides. The biggest thing is this. You named it earlier. Shaq Barrett, JPP going against two tackles that were not starting this season.
Right. So Eric Fisher's out for left tackle with his Achilles, which sucks to see. But I mean, Kansas City is a solid defense. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised with Matthew coming up with a couple picks. The Honey Badger pulling off some things.
Does Tom Brady throw multiple interceptions in back-to-back games? I'm going to venture a no. And
it's not likely.
3 in the championship round in the second half.
Dude, this year...
That's what's so disappointing about Green Bay, is that they got the ball turned over to them 3 different times in the second half by that defense, and that offense came up with 6 points.
Yes.
You cannot have that happen.
No, and not against Tom Brady. But what's crazy to think is that I think Mahomes is scarier.
Are we still 100%? I know he passed all the protocols and all that stuff. Are we still 100% that he's okay, especially with that toe?
Everything's good with the toe. From what I heard today is that he's still, chilling on it, but he says that he feels perfectly fine.
He's going to have to play
he played great last week.
He's going to have to play like Air Jordan for them to win.
He normally does.
Right, I know, but I'm just saying, that's what it's going to take. 100% this year.
He needs to make sure that he doesn't get caught up in that 14-yard drop back.
He's not going to be able to. This defense is going to get to that.
Well, that's what Josh Allen did last week. That's what was the problem, is that so many times he kept trying to scramble and then kept going farther and farther back. And as long as they can, like I said, the turnovers, it's what's Fournette going to do? Are they going to be able to slow that ball down? I don't know.
It's
going to be good.
Listen, they're not going to be able to script this game any better.
Oh, of course not.
Now, we did say an interesting stat that we saw was Tom's 43, right?
Yeah. Oh, yes. This was interesting.
There's 5 quarterbacks that were inducted into the Football Hall of Fame at the age of 43.
Yes.
John Elway, Otto Graham, Dan Marino, Steve Young,
and Montana.
And Joe Montana.
So at the age of 43, they were inducted.
Yeah, and he's playing.
And he's still playing.
His 10th Super Bowl, 11th Super Bowl.
This is 10th.
10th Super Bowl.
Going for a 7th ring.
Has won 6. He's played in, 14 out of 21 of his seasons in the NFL. He's played in the championship
game. He's the only quarterback to play in a Super Bowl in 3 different decades.
It's wild. It's wild.
It's
And
unreal.
He's played in 20% of the Super Bowls. With this being almost 20% of the Super Bowls. With this being 10.
You have to think about that. Like, it is crazy. You take a quarter of his career, and he's still in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I gotta cut back the old era. I will. It's different.
Yes.
Otto Graham was the greatest champion in football history. This is different. I can separate it. But that's what he is. He's the greatest champion of all time. He's not the greatest quarterback of all time.
Correct.
Oh, look at that. Me and you, good, because, man, I was getting hammered on the internet about that.
No, I agree. I obviously I'm nostalgic for Montana.
Sure.
You know, never lost Super Bowl. But at the same point, you can't argue the fact just because you're
Been to
going.
10.
Yes.
It's the LeBron thing.
Correct.
Michael's 6-0. Yeah, LeBron's been to like 17.
It's a different game too, and these guys are playing for longer, so it's man, it's impressive.
That's a whole nother subject.
I would not be surprised though if in 5-10 years from now we're already putting Pat Mahomes in that conversation.
If he's got 4 Super Bowls and all those things. But again, it's going to be, man, the bar for Tom is so high. He's the only one to do what he's doing. To think that it's just going to be that easy for another guy that's this recent, like a Pat Mahomes, to do it, I don't think so. They're not going to be able to hold it together forever. 1, they won't be able to hold this team together forever. 2, the NFL will catch up. And 3, the AFC has a bunch of young guys that are going to stop him from being able to get the Super Bowl time and time and time again. There's going to be years where he's not going to make it.
Correct.
Because of how competitive. See, the AFC back in the day, sorry about the tangent, but the AFC back in the day, you had Tom, you had Peyton, right? That was like the big thing. Ben got a few in there, right? Which is unbelievable that they did that.
Right.
Phillip Rivers was in his prime there, but he didn't really.
He never really
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of good quarterbacks in the AFC, but those guys ran the Peyton and Tom. Now in the AFC, besides Pat Mahomes, you've got Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
You've got Joe Burrow. You've got Baker Mayfield. You've got Josh Allen.
Yes.
You've got all of these guys in the AFC that are young and that are very good at football.
Correct.
I don't think it's going to be as easy for the Kansas City Chiefs to make it to the Super Bowl every year, like I would say maybe it has been for the Patriots the last 20 years.
No one can expect that.
Well, it seems like that's what people are expecting. They're like, he's the greatest of all time. Let's back it up.
I can say for the next 3 to 4 years that they're going to be like in that AFC Championship game every year. There might be to where
they should be in the divisional round with a chance to play in the AFC Championship game for the next 5 years straight. 100%.
Yep.
And they probably make 3 of those.
Yeah, it's
and
so
out of
hard.
They might go to 2 more Super Bowls in the next 3 or 4 years.
Right.
For sure. But
It's
those
so
other years,
hard.
they're not going to do it. You have these young up-and-coming Bucks.
Correct. And it also depends on injuries and what, everything has to fall in line. And that's what I love about this year is that we have almost everybody good to go. At least all the exciting people that we want to see.
Yeah. Yeah. They're going to make sure. Conveniently, no COVIDs. No COVIDs.
Of course.
That's
So,
one of those things. It's meant to be its fate.
what do you, so we've got a couple little trades. Wait, so okay.
I was going to say, you're going to get to who you think is going to win the game?
Yeah, completely. So I said Kansas City for sure.
Right.
So it's Tampa Bay's +3.
Okay.
And the over-under is 56.5. I'm picking the over and Kansas City.
I agree with the over. I have not made my pick yet. I was talking to my uncle this morning, and I have not made my pick yet.
What are you going to do?
It is so tough to pick against Tom Brady at home, even though it's not at home, it's at home. In the Super Bowl. Now, with that being said, what does the NFL want more to happen?
Of course.
Pat Mahomes taking down the king, the GOAT,
Where's all their money going to be going?
and taking that away? Or is it still all hail King Tom?
Passing the torch?
Um,
Because he's not retiring. He's going to play next year.
Roger Goodell wants Pat Mahomes to be the face of the NFL so fucking bad.
100%.
But not so fast, my friends. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a shootout win this game. Tom Brady with the ball in his hands with a chance to win, and he does. It's a walk-off, but he doesn't walk off because he'll run it back. But it should be a storybook.
So?
You just won it. Walk off. No. TB12. Avocado ice cream. Gonna play till I'm 50. Big trust. Whoa,
Wow.
whoa.
I'm so glad that we're disagreeing on this.
Yeah, and that was not planned because, like I said, I've been thinking about this since it's up, and I just.
You're
My
going.
original pick was Kansas City versus Green Bay, and
Yeah.
Green Bay winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay beat Green Bay. I'm not going with that as a reason, but that's another thing that factors in. I think if Green Bay got past TB, I would have taken Green Bay. That was my pick in the beginning of the year.
See, I said Kansas City, Tampa Bay at the beginning of the year, and then after so much of your ranting and raving about Green Bay, I kind of listened to it, and I thought it was going to be Kansas City, Green Bay.
And it absolutely could have been.
Kansas City looks good. I'm not going against Patrick Mahomes, and I know that that's crazy to say, but I'm taking the young kid.
All right.
I like it.
All of my notes that I have here, these extensive notes
Yes.
that I have right here, extensive, tell me that Tampa Bay is going to win this game.
It looks like it's extensive from what was written from the day before.
It looks like executive orders.
Oh my gosh. Just sign the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big letters too, dog.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we'll do a wrap-up show next week, but we'll definitely have to dive into.
We'll come back to this.
Okay.
Off-season news. A lot of things have already happened. Next year is going to be incredible. We already know who's playing who. We just don't know when.
Right.
Is there going to be a 17th game next year? Because right now it's not on the schedule, but they talked about it being a 17th game next year. So if they do that, how do they determine what that 17th game is?
I think they do because they're going to spin it to where there's no preseason this year, and then they'll do.
You think no preseason, or they're already going to back it out? Because what are they coming down? They cut it down to 3 preseason games and a week 17 or a week 18 football game.
I would say that they do 1 or 2. So you still are able to evaluate those last cuts.
Do you think that they will have traditional OTAs?
Not this year.
No. So you don't think by the summer they won't have? They'll be doing what we just did this past season. Zoom calls, those things. Well,
or it might be like limited. So maybe it's only a certain amount of time in the building, or there's certain. I don't see it being fully back because they're going to want to make sure that they protect it, and there's going to be certain players that want to make sure that they're protected.
Now, do you feel like obviously it was a success the way that they did it?
It was
those players that opted out.
Money.
75% of them probably would have opted in if they would have known it was going to go this way. I think the other ones were legitimately family related, oriented. Hey, this is what needs to be done. That's okay. You got nothing wrong with that. We had an exciting NFL season to have all of those things happen. Lack of practices, COVID. There was exciting. The football games themselves, there was no drop off in competition. Every week was close. Look at Kansas City. They didn't cover like 9 out of the last 11 weeks or something, but they went 15-1.
Right.
There's a lot of exciting things that happened. The Hail Murray.
Yes. Oh my God.
And let's not forget that Buffalo that week, what Allen did with 34 seconds left was incredible. It was MVP-like stuff.
Sure.
When you needed it, he got it. And then for Kyler to pull off some wizardry and D-Hop to just put those predator hands out there and snap that ball.
That way. And, man, he's so small, but at the same point, dude,
he's so strong.
It's great. Like, I mean, even at the beginning of the year this year with Russell Wilson, talking about MVP and the way he would loft that ball, especially to Lockett and DK Metcalf. I mean, even Metcalf running down.
Buda Baker.
Yep.
It was an incredible year. So with that being said, have they maybe looked at maybe we don't need to practice as much? Maybe we get better off. I don't see a lot of players that got injured this year either. There wasn't a bunch of injuries.
I would be surprised.
Was there a starting quarterback that had a season-ending injury this year? Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Burrow was
Jimmy G-ish, sorta.
Yeah, you could say that.
They were hampered by injury, but
Cam Newton kind of all year.
But yeah, well, but he played. But I mean, really,
there wasn't anything crazy this year.
There's only one.
And, man, it's going to be, and this offseason, there's so many options with quarterbacks. I mean, even today, it was rumored that Julio and Matt Ryan are going to be on the trade block.
They're not moving.
They're not.
No one's taking those contracts.
But Deshaun.
Listen.
So they're going to ask the world for Deshaun after now Stafford.
They're not going to ask anything. If a team wants to approach them, they better bring a haul. Because I am on the side. Do I agree with the ownership of the Houston Texans, what they've done historically? No, I can't speak to it. But generally, hearing from people that I would trust their word, no, it sounds like they're pretty awful human beings.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with this. This goes back to 165 days ago. Deshaun Watson, you signed an extension for ridiculous amount of money. When everything was still in chaos, they had already traded D-Hop. We've gone over this. Bill O'Brien was still a stooge. 2 years ago, they went 11-5 and won their division, was in the playoffs. So hold on a second. He says he wants to sit out, fine, then cut them a check for $27 million. No hard feelings. You don't want to sit, that's what you owe them back. I am hunkering down and not trading him because he's upset. It could set the wrong standard. Again, he could have not signed the extension.
Correct, but get your money, and it's a different game.
He got his money.
J.J.
Now
Watt
play
is
for it.
not going to play either.
J.J. Watt will be traded, but that's going to be a cash casualty, and that has nothing to do.
Dude,
Listen,
you're
before
telling
Deshaun Watson said any of this, J.J. Watt was probably not going to be with Houston based on the amount of money. No, based on the amount of money he's going to make, and them having a lower. You do know there's going to be a lower
salary cap.
Yes, so a lot of high and big money will be cash casualties. I think J.J. Watt will be one of them. He's not going to sit out. He's going to get cut or traded for a third.
He only has a year. So
he's going to get traded for a third-round pick, and that's that.
Go to the Packers.
Wherever he goes, it'll be a third, fourth-round pick, maybe a second-round pick. Maybe he goes to the L.A. Rams.
Oh gosh, dude, I hate that Stafford's at the Rams just because it's in NFC West. But at the same point, dude,
I am usually always on the side of the players. Yes, I agree. But this isn't, hey, I'm sitting out and I want traded because I'm making $600,000 a year. I just signed the largest extension prior to what Pat Mahomes did in NFL history. And I already had all these beefs were here. Why all of a sudden now is the beef too much? You could have said, no, I'm not signing it. Matter of fact, y'all should trade me.
He has leverage, man. Like he has.
No, he does not have any leverage.
Oh, dude, yes, he does.
No, he doesn't.
You're telling me that if he.
Where's his leverage?
They are not going to allow this going into the season, and they're going to want to know if they can get anything, get in this freaking draft.
Sit out.
Dude, you are.
I'll save the $27 million.
He's not going to be a Texan.
We'll go sign. There's going to be, like you said, there's going to be a bunch of quarterbacks out there in the market that are going to be veterans. Someone's going to sign to start. I would call his bluff. There's a lot of guys. I would sign Mitchell Trubisky to a 1-year, prove it, $10 million or $15 million deal, and call Deshaun's bluff. You could always need two. They could run similar offenses because Mitch is very athletic, and I would call Deshaun Watson's bluff. Why would I trade my only asset?
Because
he's a 25-year-old quarterback.
You're rebuilding anyways. That team sucks. So
if you're going to rebuild, you need a quarterback to rebuild. He's 25. He's not 35.
Right. So go get somebody in the draft and get Justin Fields and pay them a quarter or even a fifth of what you can pay them. Like it's smarter if you're going to rebuild. And then it's a new coach. He gets his own quarterback. He's not starting.
I think any coach would have taken Deshaun Watson.
Oh, any coach wants Deshaun Watson, but you don't want a frustrated Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, you'll get over that,
dude. No, I'm telling you, it ain't. He's not going to be a Texan, and I don't mind. We have the team right now. If we
this is where this is coming from. So we're getting to the bottom of this, ladies and gentlemen. This is where this is coming from. This is coming from a jealous fanatic of the 49ers, hoping that his team is going to get. That's what this is.
Hey, it is.
I know what that's like. I haven't liked that quite often with Cleveland Browns. But you are out of your mind. I think they call his bluff. First off, if I'm Nick Caserio, which I'm not, if I was the GM of the Houston Texans, which I'm not, I am not. Oh, Easterby, I am not running the team. I am not doing those things. But if I were, and that's a business, I paid that person. I'm not going to let them hold me hostage. And he's a young asset. Granted, is there a chance I can get a haul for him? Maybe. But who's to say that we're going to make good on those picks anyways?
Yeah. No, I agree. And
you can't always cave. And I know it sounds like I'm siding with billionaires, and you shouldn't do that because the billionaires are usually the evil ones, and I get it. But for his reasons, they're illogical because he could have used that. Now, if he would have said, hey, I'm not signing this extension because of X, Y, and Z, I'm going to play through my contract and we'll see where we're at. Sure.
I disagree.
But you can't sign that knowing that all that stuff's there and then go, I bought I walked in the house, saw it was dirty as all get out. It's filthy, disgusting. But I bought it anyways, and then when I have to sign the dotted line, I walked in and I go, oh, it's so gross, I want to move. No, bro, you saw it when you walked in.
Okay, so if you sign a contract, contract for a job, so back in the day when we were in the office, right, if you signed a contract for the next 3 years, promising that things are going to get better, and they don't, they get worse, and then people get fired, and now all of a sudden it's a new regime, totally different expectations from what you signed that contract for. You're telling me that you wouldn't want to try and move to a different department?
Let me ask you a question. Did that department just give me a humongous, life-changing signing bonus and pay raise
So
salary to
you're-
do it.
But right under an expectation.
And that
And
expectation hasn't
expectations-
been solved in
Oh
165
my God,
days.
dude.
It's one season.
So?
We're not talking about this as 4 years. It's not like he signed an 8-year extension where 4 years in and was traded.
It's gotten
Okay,
that bad, and everybody's been saying that.
it was already that bad. That's my point. He's trying to use this as a cop-out because he saw fat James Harden get out of Houston, and he thinks he's going to do the same damn thing.
Wearing the
Nutty
belly
Professor.
wrap.
He's going to look like Professor Clump when he
Oh
shows
yeah,
up to training camp.
have you seen all
That's
the
what I
memes?
picture
Oh my
him.
gosh, dude. And then, did
Oh
you
my
see
God.
the picture of the Weeknd because he paid $7 million of his own dollars to
Yeah.
do this, and it's him all busted up?
Yeah,
Oh, dude, that's hilarious.
I mean,
I'm excited to see him, but it's.
I, like most years, will not be watching the halftime show of the Super Bowl, but that's okay.
Yeah. I don't care about. Like, I used to care about the commercials. You know,
Commercials stink. I don't
we'll
care.
randomly watch them, but I'm so over it. So like,
Yeah,
I just
don't
want to watch
watch.
football.
Yeah, I don't watch the halftime show. That's usually
It's
when
so
I'm getting food.
long.
And it's got so many. Again, throwing my conspiracy theory hat on. So much like imagery and so much like signs and things like that that you can tie in. Maybe you can. Maybe you can. Depends on what you think or what you believe. But the bottom line is, there's a lot of shenanigans that I just don't really care about. Which I understand. You're trying to get a demographic. It's all about the mighty dollar. Holla holla. But I
I'd
don't
rather
need to see. Yeah, I'm good.
They did the Nickelodeon halftime show where Slime's just like
Right.
that would be more entertaining to me.
I mean, I remember back in the day, there used to be the halftime show on Spike TV, the Lingerie Bowl,
Oh yeah.
the
That's
dog
right.
show at
Yes.
halftime.
Oh, dude, some of those girls used to mouth. Oh man.
They're like, yeah,
That's a
played
whole-
softball for 17 years.
Yeah. Oh man. Those are different days.
Oh, aren't they? Aren't they
Oh, my
different days?
All right, so we have different picks this week.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna go into an amazing Super Bowl, I believe,
Yes, sir.
and we're gonna do a wrap-up show next week.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm gonna win.
Well, you should feel that way. They're your picks.
Yeah. So let's wrap this up this way.
Okay.
Scotty Miller or Tyreek Hill? They're saying that they want to race at halftime, which will not happen.
That's never going to happen. I'm sorry, Scotty Miller. You are an elite athlete with blazing speed. This dude's nickname is the Cheetah. End of story. Unless your nickname is White Lightning, you know, Casper Flash,
Dude, like
you know what I'm saying?
the last time
Clark
I remember
Kent.
that quickness was Hester. Devin Hester when he.
I'll even go back into the vault. Tim Dwight.
Oh, dude. The Cheetah has that speed to where he can adjust and barely slow down and then take off again. He is, I think if
Have
he's
we
in a-
decided on how long that race would
it
be?
would have to be his 40 yard.
Is it a 40 or is it a 100? Is it a 40 yard or is it a 100?
Oh, I'd actually take Hill in both.
Thank you.
All right, that'll wrap it up.
All right, man. Everybody have a good one. Safe, super,
Stay safe.
happy Super Bowl.
Yes.
Can't wait. Gonna be exciting.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy.
Yes, one love.
Later.